Hello and welcome back to school. You are joining me for Pre-Algebra 2 and I'm extremely excited to start the school year with you. My name is Mrs. Amy King. I will be one of your teachers for the Pre-Algebra 2 class. Mr. Evan King is a second teacher that we have for this class and he is my co-teacher. You can watch a video of his welcoming you back to school that is posted along with this in my Google Classroom page. I also am lucky enough to have a student teacher this year, Ms. Alexa Karp. She has a video posted as well for you to watch that introduces herself to you and enables you to get to know her a little better. At any time throughout the year, please feel free to email us. Our email addresses are provided on this screen and they're also posted in Google Classroom. I will be sending out my own email to all of the parents welcoming you to the 2020-21 school year, and I will be giving you some general information. We're going to talk a little bit about this course, but before we get there, just a couple of facts about me. I have been teaching mathematics at North Hills for the last 18 years. I began in December 2002 and was lucky enough to join the staff. Currently, I'm teaching Honors Algebra 2, Honors Trig and Pre-Calc, and Pre-Algebra 2. I've had the Pre-Algebra 2 class for my entire year, or my entire career. I am thoroughly excited to be teaching this course as I truly enjoy teaching algebra. I also have two children. The girls are in 7th and 4th grade. Adeline is the 7th grader and Sadie is in 4th grade. And in the evenings, the two of these children keep me very busy, as I am sure you know with your own children. So we're going to talk about Pre-Algebra 2 and the concepts that we will go over in Pre-Algebra 2. We start the year off with something called the tools of algebra. And this is a good review for the students of working with order of operations and also talking about solving equations. The second chapter that we will cover deals with linear equations and functions. Linear equations are lines, and we're going to be looking at those lines graphically and also solving parts of the line algebraically. Third chapter we'll cover, it's called systems of equations. A system is a set of two equations that we can solve or graph simultaneously. In chapter 4, we'll look at inequalities, so now taking that equation and making an inequality, and also absolute value equations. Those first 4 chapters are the pre-algebra 2 portion of the class, and really it's a good review of algebra 1 and the spiraling effect that you had in algebra concepts from geometry. Starting in the 5th chapter, which this chapter will be pretty much starting in February, is when we really hit the beginning of algebra 2. So the pre-algebra 2 course covers or reviews algebra 1, and then it gives the students a start to algebra 2. The goal is then for the students next year to take the regular Algebra 2 class, especially if they are college bound. So we're going to work with quadratic functions and something called factoring, and we'll talk about many methods of factoring. We'll look at some polynomials and polynomial equations, and then finally we round out the year with probability and statistics to give the students another type of math to work with. For this class, the students will need an iPad on a daily basis, especially once we're in this virtual learning process. That iPad was supplied by the school. They will also need a stylus. A stylus is a pen that we use to write with an iPad. So I have numerous stylus products and they are all the same, they're just different colors. I bought one for my husband, my girls, and also the student teacher. These things are great. Again, they make it easy to write on the iPad. The worksheets and assignments that we do, the majority of them will be posted on the iPad. Yes, your son or daughter may choose to print them out, or they may choose to write down the problem on a lined piece of notebook paper and then take a photo of that and upload that into a Google Classroom. But the easiest thing really to do is to use the iPad as the device to write on. And the great thing about that is papers don't get lost. Everything is stored on the iPad, which is then backed up by our school's system. The students could use a 3-ring binder or a spiral-bound notebook for any notes or homework that they do. There will be book assignments as well, so yes, they will need some type of paper supply. Your son or daughter also received a textbook on the first day of school. That textbook will be the source of some of our homework. Others' homework comes from worksheets that I personally have made myself for the course. And finally, we need some type of calculator, whether it be a graphing calculator or a scientific calculator. But some type of calculator is useful for math, for the adding, subtracting, working with fractions and decimals, multiplying and dividing those large numbers. So if it isn't a graphing calculator, that's fine, but some type of scientific calculator is going to be required. I will be putting some calculator apps onto the Google Classroom course once we get close to the point where we need to be using other types of calculators. So I'm going to link us to the Google Classroom page for PreAlgebra 2. And the goal here is for you to see what your son or daughter sees on a daily basis in the virtual classroom. The picture that I have showing in the screen right now is called the stream of Google Classroom. This is where any posting exists. Now it is in order, but it's in order by date. So the top posting is the last thing that I placed in my Google Classroom for the PreAlgebra 2 class. So it's by topic and by date. The newest always goes on top. This can get rather long, especially after we get through a couple of weeks. So we're asking the students to use the coursework tab of Google Classroom. This enables the information to be separated into categories. So you can see at the top, this is kind of like the most important information at the very top, our new bell schedule, which gives them the times of their classes. And then underneath this is the daily Zoom live lesson link. Our Zoom starts at 10:45 on a daily basis. I am giving live lessons. So I will be teaching your students through the computer instead of the classroom in a live setting, which means I'm going to answer their homework questions from the previous night. I'm going to be teaching concepts, mathematical ideas to them live. There's not a video for them to watch unless they decide they cannot meet the Zoom meeting, and then there will be a recorded video posted. But they get to ask live questions, answer live questions through this live link. Again, that is at 10:45. Or if it's in the 7th period, then it's at 1 o'clock. So 4th period meets at 10:45, my 7th period meets at 1 o'clock, but they will both be live lessons. So one class isn't going to watch a recording, they both get live lessons. General information for the course. If you want to contact any of us, I had it on that first screen, but it's also right in here. So if you're not sure who to email, ask your son or daughter for that information. You then have the opportunity to look at my schedule for this school year. This is great for the students especially to look at, because if they're working on their homework and they might get stuck on a problem, they can go to this schedule to see what I'm doing. If I'm teaching, no, I can't respond to them immediately. But if I have a prep period or lunch or study hall or lunch duty, then I have time that I can answer their questions immediately, and I might even be able to meet with them through a Zoom. Lunch, study hall, and lunch duty obviously are not happening in the virtual world. Yes, I will be eating lunch at some point, but I'm not having a study hall, and I'm definitely not observing lunch duty. The other thing that I have weekly is Math Help Mondays, and this is a separate Zoom that'll be posted into Google Classroom every single Monday at the end of the day. So again, if they're having problems with math, that's a great opportunity for them to get some math help. And I can show you exactly where that's posted because it's posted next week for Monday. That link is right here. So it'll be under next week's assignments and agenda, and it'll always be posted right with the Monday assignment, just for the students to remember, hey, that math help link is posted for us. So going back up into the other general information for the class, my course syllabus is here. Please ask your son or daughter to look at that information. It was not printed for them. There is no hard copy. Everything is posted digitally. So they can click on that and have you look through the course syllabus so that you understand all of the parts of the course. We have the learning policies and expectations for the remote learning. That talks about Google Classroom, etiquette for Zoom, and how to properly send an email. And then the last part that I'm going to highlight is the grading policy. So just a little bit of information about math. Of course, there is homework in math because we have to practice what we learn. So homework will be assigned on a regular basis, and I check it for completion. Completion means I'm looking to see, did they write the original problem down? Have they attempted the problem by showing some work? And did they try and get to the answer? Do all the answers have to be correct? No. Should they be checking their answers in the back of the book? Yes. Should they be checking their answers to worksheets when those answers are provided with the worksheet? Yes. But all of the answers are not always going to be 100% correct. And that's why we have sessions to help the students with that. If the homework is late, so if I assign it at 10:30 today, it's due at 10:30 tomorrow. Anything beyond that, the students would then receive a late homework assignment, and that's worth 3 points. If it's after 24 hours, so it was due tomorrow, they didn't turn it in on Wednesday or Thursday, then the homework is now worth half credit. I accept homework in this class up until the end of the chapter. So chapter 1 will probably last us until about the first week of October. Any homework assigned in chapter 1 will be accepted for half credit until the first or second week of October when we finish the class. Of course, if homework is not submitted, or if it's submitted after the end of the chapter, I will not be accepting homework. One really important thing with accepting late assignments, right here, it is the student's responsibility to notify me when they're submitting late work, every single time. And that gives you a little bit of information about the homework and how homework will be set up. There will be tests and quizzes that are assigned. Tests and quizzes will be given during the class time. So 4th period test and quiz at 10:45 and 7th period would be assigned at 1 o'clock. If those times do not work for your son or daughter, please tell them to email me so that I can schedule a separate time for them to take their tests. The test will not be open all day, but it'll be open during the class period. If they need more time to take the test or to finish the test, again, please tell them to reach out to myself, Mr. King, or Ms. Karp so that we can give them extended time on the test. That about wraps up my summary for the Pre-Algebra 2 class. Anytime you have questions, please email me so that I can answer any of those questions that you have. And the same goes for your son or daughter. Email right now is going to be the easiest way to communicate, unless they ask a question through Zoom, because that will be our other way to communicate. I hope we have a great school year. I look forward to getting to know your son or daughter better throughout the year as we kind of work through this video conferencing. And then, of course, I'm very hopeful we get to join each other in the actual school building. Thanks for joining me tonight.